We're being encouraged more and more to shop online, with ever more tempting deals to playa us over there. But sometimes the information we're given is lacking. Sometimes you never really know something until you get to grips with it.
Stop, look, listen, cause you're gonna hear a brand new story about a great engineer. He's the greatest of them all, we claim. Number one is his engine, Casey Jones, his name. Casey Jones, steaming and a-rolling. Casey Jones, you never have to guess. When you hear a tooting of the whistle, it's a Casey at the throttle of the Cannonball Express.
Hi, my name's Andy and this is my channel Modeloco for all things model railway. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It won't harm the bank balance. As an independent, unaffiliated modeler, sometimes things are even better than we ever imagined they would be. Like these TT120 models that I've got behind me and this layout of building. Sometimes the layout turns out to be better than you ever thought it would be by making a big mistake that you thought was going to be an absolute disaster. But that's not what we're really on about here today. It's not the faulty item that sometimes goes wrong. It's about when you get something and you realise something is lacking or has been added that you don't like. I'm here today to have a look at this little beauty. Online, I thought, read the bump, and yeah, let's give it a go. Plus, what's all that about? Well, it's arrived today, so I unboxed it, and it's going back tomorrow. Why? Right, I'll try and keep this one as brief as possible. I was looking at the Railroad and the Railroad Plus range, and how it's been evolving. It just says at the bottom here, Hornby Railroad and Railroad Plus locomotives offer an excellent assortment of both steam and diesel electric models, with each being ideal for those new to model railways, as well as others who are more seasoned modelers. Now with hindsight, having seen what I've seen as we review this model, is why possibly they've labelled it up on their website as junior. I'd say you've really got to look at this as a modeler. If we go over to the next page, and some of these pages do stick together, it's very well printed. We can see this model here that I'm interested in. I'm also so interested in this because it's got a Leeds head code on. And I was tempted to go for both. I thought, this looks great. I'd love to see them scaled up into fully detailed models. That's not the case. So this is the one I've ordered, which I think if we go through these, you can see all the differences. But the couplings differ from model to model. Some of the older coupling and some the newer coupling on. You've really got to study the photographs and you can start to see the differences. But to the untrained eye, you don't see this and you do miss it. Yeah, I've got this model. I'm totally happy with it. So that's why I thought to myself, we'll go with this one. It's like egg box style carton packaging with a thin card surround. What's been the issue? It's a Railroad Plus enhanced livery. When this came up, I've always wanted a 3-car DMU. I was looking at the Class 108. This is the Class 110. Slightly different head codes and things, but straight out of the box, this is the item in question. Of course, it's not going to have sprung buffers. It's got no lighting. The destination board on this one is York. Not a separately fitted window wiper. It's just embossed onto the Perspex windscreen. But the detailing, enhanced livery, is good. Picked out piping here, detail on the windows. I have noticed a little bit of machine oil on the bottom. Just a quick look under the underside. That'll just wipe off, but... Also, it has Hornby old style couplings on. There's no NEM sockets, so these can't be pulled out. You've got to go with these. The red probably looks a little bit too glossy for my liking. Some nice additions here. The exhaust here. Cab roof has got some just basic detailing on there, but this is the other item. Concertina effect here. Transfer work here, and I think they're all now printed on rather than being transferred. Window down, I quite like that effect. Limited detailing, but it's nicely done. I can't grumble. Bogies are very basic as well. Free running. There's no recess in the wheels as normal that we're used to seeing on more expensive models. And the other final piece would be this unit here, which again is the dummy unit. Huddersfield on the destination. So that is that. You can fit a DC-C decoder in here by taking the blanking plug out. A sealed long life motor which requires no maintenance. We've been hearing about a lot of trouble over motors and decoders and wiring from a certain other new to the scene manufacturer, and hence why I've held back all the way through. Couples up really nicely, but of course you're not going to be able to put your magnetic couplings or close couplings on this, and you can see that that's the minimum distance you're going to get between. But that's not the issue. Something struck me as I looked down, and you might ask, what are those? They are traction tyres, and the traction tyres are on these two drive wheels here, as these are loose. And traction tyres is something that unfortunately I am not fond of in the slightest. You may have heard me going on about it in the loft the other week.
Just the talk of traction tyres makes my stomach curdle.
So, unfortunately, this time, this one is going to have to be returned. But if you like the detailing, there's a quick look. You're not going to, as I said, get cab lighting. You're not going to get directional lighting, interior lighting, or head code lighting. I liked what the destination was saying. It's a lovely model apart from that. So if you're not bothered about traction tyres, love the Hornby products. It's just this one doesn't suit me. Not every penny fits the slot, does it? So it's just a word of warning to all you prospective buyers. That's why I won't be interested in the Railroad Plus items this time from Hornby. So like the plate trains before them, I think this is going to stick on the shelf, but time will tell. And like this collector's model I got some years ago, still in the box, it's never been touched. But that wasn't the end of the story, because sometimes out of the unexpected, like the snow this morning, comes the advantages. Because, for instance, if you've nowhere to go, you can go sledging if there's enough of the stuff. There isn't, but that said, that's trying to get the point over. Like, yes, going into a model shop, I would have easily seen that this model's got traction tyres, even though it doesn't seem to state it anywhere. And I think as model shops disappear, that information should be there, so people like myself can make a decision and not spend nearly £12 sending an item back. And that's where Amazon comes in, for instance. Amazon, you send and return goods free of charge. If you're not happy, they go back. The swings and roundabouts. And this is what's happened with me on this occasion, because it got me off my bum and I thought, I wonder if there's anything on eBay. And I've ended up with this. And it came through as this one went back. So yeah, I've got this. It's in the old box style. It's the 32902, but it's still got the actual original packaging on. So if we take that off, it's absolutely brand new. How this has been kept on the shelf in such a beautiful condition, we shall never know. But I won't hold my breath until it's been on the track and I've tried it. The box is in perfect condition for just short of £115, and to me, just what I wanted. Just going to have a look into the box. And Martin Weaver, who's the new head of brand at Hornby, says Railroad and the Railroad Plus range is something they're going to invest more in. So it's a bit of that with me, and I think money could be better spent elsewhere on more detailed models, and everybody cries out affordability. But when you look at eBay and things like that, looks lovely. Oh, polystyrene, haven't seen that for a while. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. we go. And that's got the head code Skipton on, which is what I wanted. Sprung buffers. It's going to have lights, beautiful glazing, pickups on both bogies. So there's one. Let's have a look at the other one. Authentically detailed. Not suitable for children under 14. So yeah, you can sort of see that. Depending on dexterity of people, everyone's different. I've looked after all my old cars because I was very thoughtful about possibly keeping them. One end seems to fall away more than the other sometimes when you open boxes, but it's always good to be careful, and then you're not damaging the packaging at all. There we go. The Class 108 Keithley on the front of the head code there. All the information inside. And it's just like, oh, well, it is opening a brand new model, isn't it? How to get into it and everything else. The Collector's Club. Wish someone would bring the Blue Peter back out. DCC decoder fitting. That's what I'm going to be interested in. And I'm going to be fitting a Bluetooth decoder. And you might say, well, you can't get the 108. But I think Hornby this year are going to be adding a lot more sounds to the HM7000 app. There's the front couplings if you need them. There's any sockets at the front, which I won't be using. The coupling option there. If anything, I'll be going magnetic couplings. And here we have the drive unit. And this does feel very heavy indeed. You forget about pushing these out like that. That's what we used to have to do, isn't it? And then it just falls into your hands. This feels heavy. Bit of oil there, just machine oil again that we can wipe off. But yeah, not a speck of dust on it at all. Pickups again on the bogie. The drive unit pickups are going to the inside. Oh, what's this here? This doesn't look right. Maybe it's just not clipped on. But yeah, you can really see the drive mechanism in there now. There we are. It just wanted clicking onto that lug, but at least I got an interesting look under there. I'm going to wipe the machine oil off that I've left all over. I definitely think I've found myself a little bargain. So it's always good to look. And yeah, some of the shop sellers are wanting more money than they were when they were actually out new. Yeah, DCC ready. That's another thing to always look out for. I'm very happy with that, indeed. Look at the box, beautiful. Let's get her on the test track. So yeah, I've just coupled it up together. I heard a few people say they seem to be a bit noisy, but it's not running yet. So advised now running in DC mode, but seek and ye shall find, I suppose, is the motto of today. And time has been, the biggest investment in all this, to be honest. I think the Railroad Plus range is really for the under 14s and those who want the no frills models. And that coupled with the dreaded traction tyres, no, it's a step too far. I can't cope with that. They do say that every ending is in fact a new beginning. And yeah, it's really sad when model shops shut. I know when I was a child growing up, we had 4 toy shops in the town and there's none there now. Things have changed, but we've got to go with it. Some for the better, some for the worse. That's why we look at steam trains and think, when you get on a diesel train, you get there faster. What are we rushing to get to? I think I quoted that in one of my videos. We're beginning to question what it is we really want. When someone like Hatton's disappears, it really rocks your boat. We're going to need more online integrity going forward. If we're losing touch, we need more trust. And I've found with Hatton's, tried 5 or 6 times, I couldn't deal with them. They seemed aloof and uninterested. Other people have had some great experiences. I don't know what went wrong for me, but I never gave up. So we'll have to see what materialises. Things do go wrong, things aren't right. And yes, they definitely need highlighting, and bravo to all those that do speak out and make things known. For me, the key is trying not to take sides. It can be hard and we all fall for it at times, but those who are pushing one side against the other, I try and take with a pinch of salt, to be honest. I guess the start of 2024 has been a wake-up call for us all, really. Modelers, consumers, manufacturers, retailers, reviewers, and influencers alike, by yelling affordability from the rooftops. We don't want to inadvertently drive a family-focused company like Hornby up the garden path once more by encouraging them to produce more profit-sucking, unsellable vampires like steampunk, the Scalextric Velodrome, fizzy train sets, and now the latest Play Trains bundles that in reality nobody wanted to buy. If eBay prices are high and there's a massive market and demand for certain items, then fill the gap with what's selling, not with more of what doesn't, i.e. Olympic-clad buses of old. Don't let more idealist agendas drive them into the arms of other manufacturers with far less experience who think they can just simply jump on board the next boat to China bandwagon, cajoling a few influencers along the way with free models and perks. Hatton's tried manufacturing too and now accept that the experience has left them with nothing but admiration for all those who are successful like Hornby and indeed Bachmann, with whom they parted the ways with, as Rails of Sheffield did with Hornby, but who are now back selling it once more. Don't assume either that another run of the successful Tomei-style Thomas train sets that Hornby's own models couldn't keep up with back in the day will bring all that flooding back again either, and if embarked on, will always have to suck at the sap of future projects in line for new Tool TT120, for instance, double O gauge, die-cast double O models, and other ideas ahead of the game in themselves like HMDCC, with cheaper, simpler decoders, its free app, and the other future innovations like steam generators. Don't let that be taken from your grasp, please, Hornby. I'd also say after this review, don't put too many eggs into too many Railroad Plus basket ideas with dated tech and assume those will light up our teenagers' eyes like an X whatever. I don't think that's the case just because they're cheap as chips. Surely the proof is in that pudding already online. We as adults need to really start to wake up to see our own illusions and that we were played too with merchandise. At least we can take some comfort in the fact that we had something solid, actual, not virtual, to go see, share and show for our hard-earned efforts and work when so much is lost inside the virtual world once that plug is pulled. We learnt skills, art and common sense, geometry, etc. And those skills are being abandoned across the board too in ever-increasing increments with AI and its implementation and since 2020. This hobby, let's face it, has always been expensive, but nowadays, on top of all this, so is having the right trainers and phones. Yes, we had our own things to contend with in the day. But I really do believe what kids are facing at the moment is unprecedented, and the instantaneous ability to game, get online and go on social media with all its pressures puts a mounting stress on anyone who gets into this. Really do think and feel that's why you're not seeing teenagers getting into this hobby. I think some really do want to and enjoy modelling, as my son did. But by the time he'd left school, that link's broken. And while he was there, he just came up to me and said that the kids at school would have literally beaten him up if it had ever got out into the TikTok universe. Social media has its upsides, but this also makes kids fear doing anything out the box, out of line, or a little bit different. And yes, I once offered him my iPhone 6. I said, you can have that. And he went, you what? I don't want that, Dad. I'd rather do without. Looking from another angle, my 2006 Nokia mobile, the kids' Wii console, all those games and add-ons we bought, or even worse, my Sony Vaio Vista laptops are now absolutely worthless. But this new Bachmann Class 108 I've bought for just over £100 off eBay is just getting going. Interesting too that like Play Trains founder Chloe Cotton and Trainmaster that Hornby partner with, there's also some virtual model railway simulation software out there as well, which is also called, ironically, Trainmaster 2. I'm sure there's no connection here, and I certainly would hope so. But in an own nothing, be happy sort of idealist utopia, be careful when you shout out affordability in endless vlogs, because that's just where we might end up being led as manufacturing anything gets throttled by spiralling costs and legislation, just as the real railways got shut down by the very same means back in the 60s. If we're not discerning as adults and parents by now, consuming more online content than ever, and now concerned on top of all this with social pressures and mental health issues, and we're still unable to take action ourselves, instead of waiting for the next cheap train set to arrive for under 50 quid to answer all our troubles and woes, need I say any more? Just as others have spoke now about bad practices and poor model quality in the recent weeks. And that's despite the hype or silence from others. Not because I want to divide, but rather unite, because I truly love this hobby. Just as I truly love steam trains at the National Railway Museum, now being slowly called the Science Museum on too many of my searches. It begs the question, where is all that funding that our icons of steam bring in, like Flying Scotsman or others left rusting outside, actually going? Clue, look at the website. I say this because I truly love steam trains as well. I truly love 00 scale, TT120, Hornby and this hobby, and everyone who's in it for the right reasons. I truly enjoy this journey, but some questions have to be asked, not ignored. It's not all bad and it's not all good. That's life, said Frank Sinatra, and as funny as it seems, put this down and go create that beautiful dream of yours into reality. That includes me too. Look, it's gone dark. Computer's even gone off. It's gone to sleep. Most of all, thanks for lending an ear. I'm off to bed. Night. Take care. Happy modelling. Without communication, there is no relationship. Without respect, there is no love. Without trust, there is no reason to continue.
With a steaming porter and a smoking stack, and the wheels are striking thunder on the railroad track. There'll be Casey Jr. and the Red Rock 2, Wally Sanders and the rest of the crew, in a thrilling adventure that's a lot of fun, when Casey takes the throttle for another run. Casey Jones, steaming and a rolling. Casey Jones, you never have to guess. But when you hear a tooting of the whistle, it's a Casey at the throttle of the Cannonball Express. Casey Jones, steaming and a rolling. Casey Jones, you never have to guess. When you hear a tooting of the whistle, it's a Casey at the throttle of the Cannonball Express.